and welcome to Ask Mom's podcast.
Welcome back to Ask Moms, the show where we talk about parenting, coffee, and all the ways we're trying to raise decent little humans. As we always remind everyone, we are not professionals, but we can share our experience and remind you that
You're awesome.
If you feel you need professional support, please reach out to a qualified medical expert. Now, we talk all things motherhood, the good, the tough, and everything in between. Today on Ask Mom's podcast, we are joined by Eva Zachary, the Executive Director of Muskoka Victim Services, who work closely with individuals and families navigating incredibly difficult circumstances. Through advocacy, support, and community resources, their team helps people feel heard, safe, and supported during some of life's most challenging moments. We're really grateful to have you here today, Eva.
Thanks for having me. Welcome, Eva. So let's start. So for listeners who may not be familiar with what exactly does Victim Services do, would you please just kind of introduce yourself and give us a little overview of what Victim Services offers?
Absolutely. Muskoka Victim Services is a charitable not-for-profit organization, and we are primarily volunteer-based. We provide emotional and practical support to victims of crime and tragic circumstance. That support is provided in the immediate aftermath of an incident. And, our team primarily consists of volunteer crisis responders and team leaders who do the on-scene support, and we have a small staff complement that do the follow-ups in the intake and the needs assessments, vulnerability screening, and anything that needs to be done to connect victims, survivors with long-term supports.
So that could be anything from like an accident to...
all crime, all tragic circumstance. So the way I describe it is we show up to everything from a minor car accident, motor vehicle accident, to homicides and human trafficking and suicides.
Wow. That's a lot.
So what are some of the most common situations where families or individuals do seek help from you and your organization?
Well, we support all crime and all tragic circumstance. So some of the most common cases that we have are intimate partner violence, sexual assaults. We also do assault, robbery, break-and-enters. The list is endless. If anyone perceives themselves as a victim of any crime or tragedy, they can reach out for support.
So anything that's traumatic to a person, they can reach out to.
Absolutely. And the common myth for victim services is that we support only women, and that is not the case. We support every human being, and from children to all ages.
Oh, my gosh.
And yes, we're culturally inclusive, religion inclusive. If you are a human being who is that needs support, we are there to support.
You're there for all the vulnerable.
Yes, and we've been known to support the odd animal as well because they also can be victims. Now, keep in mind, we're not supporting them physically, but we can connect the families with the supports needed for their animals.
That is wonderful, too.
Right.
Okay, so along those lines, what does support actually look like for someone in crisis when they first connect with your team?
Absolutely. So be it on scene or if they're reaching out for support by telephone, when someone gets connected with one of our crisis responders or with our staff, we inform every individual that their support is confidential. We don't report their circumstance to police or other community organizations. So if they're already dealing with Children's Aid or the police, we don't go and report that. We're having a one-on-one conversation with individuals. So they know that they're in a very safe space to connect with supports that they need.
Wow.
Keep that in mind. We also have a duty to report on that same level, that if we are made privy to anyone that is in potential harm or children being in harm's way, we do have a duty to report. Other than that, what's said between survivors and our team is confidential.
Okay.
Many of our listeners are parents. What kind of signs might indicate someone in their community or even their own family members who might need victim support services?
That's an excellent question and a very complicated question. Many layers, but for parents, you know your children best. You know their normal patterns, you know how they articulate to you, you know how they physically interact in the home and in their community. If you see any signs that are changing those patterns, that may be a red flag in terms of something's going on. Or if your child becomes a little bit withdrawn. Now, you'll have children that are quiet and gentle, and they may not be reaching out. But if you're seeing them being more withdrawn than they would normally be, that could be a sign. That is usually the biggest sign. I can't reiterate this enough, is you know your children best. You know your partners best. So if there's any change in the dynamics within the family, that's usually an indicator that something's going on, and it's an opportunity to ask questions.
And they can call you or reach out to you somehow and ask
Absolutely.
for advice or support.
Yes, they can certainly.
That's a good
and
question.
The other resource, so there are many organizations that also do some support for, like Family Connections, for example, in our community. They're also there for resources for children and youth. There's also Mind Aid Muskoka, which is a phenomenal resource for children and youth. And also, if someone needs to brainstorm with us, they're always welcome to give us a call, and we're happy to have that conversation, just at least start them in the right direction.
Yeah. There's somebody that they can reach out and you can direct them or
Absolutely.
advise, and that's wonderful.
So for clarity, even if they aren't immediately in a trauma situation, but they feel something's up,
Yes,
they can call you for advice.
absolutely.
That's awesome.
Wonderful. Yeah,
So
that's really powerful.
I'm just going to take a step back for a second. So you talked about volunteers. What volunteers do you have, and what do you need?
We have a phenomenal team of volunteer crisis responders and team leaders. And I'm happy to see that their age ranges are from 20s to 80s.
Really?
That's
And
great.
It is great. And men and women, which is wonderful, all genders. You don't have to have a degree to volunteer. I often say you don't need a PhD to care.
It's well said.
So if you have the intention, you want to give back to your community, we do provide all the training. You'll go through the screening process with us, with our program coordinator. You go through our theoretical training is all online. There is an in-class component, and the only criteria is that you must pass a vulnerable sector check with the Ontario Provincial Police. Once the process is completed, you become an active crisis responder on our team. For those that are listening, please know we don't send people just one person on their own, and you get a call and you're going out to support someone who lost someone to suicide. You're not going to go alone. You're going to go with a fellow team member, and there's also a team leader that is guiding you through the entire process while you are on scene.
Okay.
And there's also, after that, we do debrief after the call as well to make sure that our volunteers are doing all right, because this work is not easy, and we're only as strong as our volunteers are strong.
We're people.
That's right.
Takes a village.
Yeah.
It does take a village.
Any volunteer is still a person. So it's good to know that you have all that support, that they're not going in by themselves,
That's
that
right.
they have all this training, and you do the debrief.
Absolutely. And the other thing is the OPP do a fantastic job, or all our community partners, when we are called on scene, the OPP do a fantastic job to protect us from some of the visuals that you may see. So our volunteers tend to be dispatched to a safe location that may be at the OPP detachment, or in the hospital, in a quiet room in a hospital, or someone's home if it's safe to meet there. We protect our volunteers from some of the graphic content that they may encounter, but the OPP also ensure. They're very cognizant.
So they work well together.
Oh, very well, yeah.
A good, strong partnership.
awesome.
What resources are available for families who may feel overwhelmed after experiencing or witnessing a traumatic event?
That's a very broad question, but an excellent question, because traumatic situations are very specific to the individuals. And I'll give you an example. I often share an example of a minor car accident. You'll have two people who will be in a car accident. It's a minor fender bender, and police show up, and you'll have one person who's very calm and just brushes it off and goes, I'm fine. And another person may just drop because it's something that it triggered something, or the shock itself was just overwhelming. So we often say that traumatic situations are very specific to the individual. Talking about resources that are available for families, it's very situation specific and individual specific. So we encourage people to call our office and connect with a caseworker and have those conversations, because what our team will do is they will do the needs assessment, they'll do the risk assessments, they'll do the vulnerability screening, and from there they will provide options for support that are best suited to your needs.
That's really good. Somebody might not be comfortable with one.
Or
That's
they might
really
seem like it's not a big deal, but when you do your evaluation, you can maybe escalate it a little higher to make sure they're okay.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because sometimes you downplay things, right?
Say, I'm okay, but meanwhile, you're in shock. One size does not fit all.
No.
Everyone reacts to circumstances differently.
Yes.
And people also have to hear this as well, is just because you're reacting to a specific situation one way doesn't mean that your reactions are wrong. In fact, they are right for you. It's something that your body needs to release at that moment.
Thank you, Eva. I bet you that's going to help a
That's
ton of people.
huge.
So, breaking barriers. What are some common misconceptions about victim services or about seeking help? I would say seeking help mostly. Like, why do you think some people hesitate to reach out for support? And how can communities help reduce that? If it's a stigma, what that stigma is.
Well, we'll start here. A common misconception about victim services is that we only serve women, and that women who have been victims of intimate partner violence. And even though that is a significant amount of the calls that we do address, we support everyone, all peoples, all the time. That's one misconception about what we do and who we support. People hesitate to reach out because we work very closely with the police. They often think we are the police.
Right.
And that is not the case.
Right.
We provide a confidential support. People can talk to us at any time and have a very open conversation that is confidential. As I mentioned earlier, the only caveat is if someone discloses potential harm to themselves or to others, or children are at risk, then we have a duty to report. Other than that, their conversation is confidential with us, and we do not tell the police about what is discussed, and it will not impact any court proceedings. We're there to listen, support, and assess, and then get people connected to a longer-term service, because we are a short-term service.
Okay.
We're there in the immediate aftermath. And even another misconception is that, okay, well, I was a victim of a situation that happened 13 years ago. If it's still impacting you today, you can give us a call, and we can work with you in terms of what supports are available.
That's
good,
powerful.
yeah. So I can see, not to profile, but men, the way that they were raised, kind of like, you're the tough one.
Man up.
Yeah, man up. You don't need help. So I could see why maybe men wouldn't reach out as quickly as they might need to.
Absolutely. There's many circumstances, and we not knowing somebody's family dynamics and how someone's raised as well. There's certain cultures, like in the house, that are developed that there's certain things you don't talk about.
Yeah.
I myself, I'm born and raised Canadian, but I have European heritage. And a long time ago, especially when you have families that come from, war-torn countries, there's certain things you don't talk about.
Yeah.
And we often talked before about that, it gets swept under the rug and it stays there.
Yes.
That belief is still out there. Our community, especially in Canada, has come a very long way, but we have to be culturally sensitive that there are still families that carry that this is not something I'm allowed to talk about. Something to keep in mind is our caseworkers do the critical incident support. We're not a counseling support. And that's where the difference is.
But you can point them in that direction.
We can point them in the right direction, and there are other mental health supports. If someone needs regular talk therapy, we can guide them in the direction, free or otherwise. We're happy to be a starting point to, when people can call us and go, this is what's happening. I don't know where to start. We're a great spot to start.
If you can reach out, like if you're going through trauma, and if you can reach out and then you offer that guidance, like even that alone, that's huge.
It's a starting point. And that's really, for many, many people, that's really 9/10 of the battle. I often say people are very brave when they pick up that phone for the first time and call a community support. That takes a lot of bravery to pick up that phone and make that call. We do our very best to hold that person in the space that they're at that time, because we know it's very hard to speak up to say, this is what's happened to me.
Yeah.
I need help.
Because it becomes more real.
Yeah.
Like sometimes if you say it out loud, it's real.
It's true.
Right? But you have to say it out loud for you to be able to manage it
And
in
to
a healthy
heal.
way.
Yeah.
Right?
But it also can take time for someone to say that out loud. We've had people call and say, I'm calling. I actually don't really know why I'm calling you, but I'm stuck. And this happened at that time. I'm okay, but I'm not okay. And I don't know where to turn.
Oh,
And we're comfortable with sitting with people in that moment where someone just needs to say, okay, wow, something's happening here. I don't understand what's happening, but something's happening here and I don't like it.
oh, how brave of them to call.
Wow.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. How can everyday community members support victims or contribute to safer communities? And I know you touched on this about volunteers. Are there any other ways or?
Well, we'll start here.
Okay.
How to contribute to safer communities. I'm a firm believer of the saying, if you see it, speak it. It's a term coined by Dawn Novak, who is a survivor who lost her daughter to femicide. She teaches in communities and to police colleges about if you see it, speak it. And that doesn't pertain only just to intimate partner violence, but that pertains to any form of violence. So if you're seeing something within your community, you too can report it. Even if it means to calling into Crime Stoppers and you want to remain anonymous, there are ways to support your community and keeping your community safe. That's one avenue. We talked about volunteering. Yes, we're always looking for volunteers. If you have it in you that you want to give back to your community and you would like to support people on probably one of the worst days of their lives, you are the ideal candidate to be a volunteer crisis responder. On that note, we also respect that not everyone can do that level of volunteering.
The face-to-face, yeah.
There's also ways people can also donate and make financial contributions to victim services. We are happy to share that 100% of the donations that we receive goes directly to client care. It doesn't go to operations. It doesn't go to anything else.
Wow.
It goes directly to the clients we serve. From our donations, we can get things started, and then we also connect with our community partners for those other supports.
If somebody wanted to reach out and help, how would they do that?
Two ways. They can call our office at 1-844-762-9945. They can email us. Our website is muskokavs.ca, and there's a page on volunteering as well. And there's also, if they're interested in donating, they can get connected to the Canada Helps website, which is also an easy way to donate. We like to think that we're approachable.
Yes, and your website is really user-friendly too.
It is.
Yes.
It's a very simple website. It's just information-based, so just you can go on and take a look. And if you are interested in volunteering, there is a volunteer application form under the volunteer tab. And we also have community partners that share our message regularly as well. I have to give a shout out to District Chair Jeff Lehman and the mayors across Muskoka, because they have been huge advocates of victim services. And I have heard them say when they've had people approach them and ask them questions on how can I get help on XYZ, the mayors and the district chair are very, very open to sharing, give Muskoka Victim Services a call.
Wow, that's great.
Excellent.
We take great pride in the collaboration that we have with our community partners. And something that we have developed in Muskoka is what we call the Group of Five. And the Group of Five is something that I developed a few years back. It actually came out of the floods out of 2019.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And what the Group of Five does is they focus on the crisis intervention and the recovery phases of an incident. So anything that's larger scale. And the Group of Five consists of Muskoka Victim Services, both Salvation Armies, be it Huntsville and Bracebridge, which also serves Gravenhurst, the Red Cross, and the District of Muskoka, their housing and homelessness team. When an incident, a large-scale incident starts, Victim Services is the first point of contact and we get dispatched for support. We also put a call out to our Group of Five so that we can have everyone on standby, because everyone has a specific role to play in our community.
So well organized.
We can't
Love it.
do it all on our own.
Oh, no.
Everyone has a part and everyone has a niche and a strength. So we will put the call out to our Group of Five so they're on standby, and it's remarkable. They contact us right away to say, what do you need? Where do you need us? And we're there. So it's
Angels.
They are our angels. So we work together because no one organization can do it all.
No.
We really do take great pride in the collaboration with all our community partners. It's not something that you see across
No.
most municipalities.
No.
So it is. We're very proud of that.
How powerful. And again,
yeah.
it takes a village again.
does
and that's
take a
what you
village.
guys are embracing.
If you have trauma, or if you know someone that's going through trauma, don't be afraid to pick up the phone. There's no judgment. They're there and they're caring people like Eva. Don't be afraid to call.
I've got a big question for you,
There we
Eva.
go.
Okay. So what inspired you personally to work in victim
Oh.
services and eventually lead this organization?
Well, it goes a long, long way. So I was born and raised in Toronto and went to a Catholic high school. And I had some wonderful mentorship in the high school. We started a peer support group. Wanted to just help the students that were in our small community. It ended up being in the center of campus, a little tiny building, and we had books and resources and just started conversations. The start of those conversations was something that motivated me to get into the helping profession.
Wow.
A long time ago also, when I first volunteered I was first a volunteer many, many years ago, all my schooling that I did with psychology and that went right out the door because crisis intervention is not therapy. So everything that you learn is different than what you have on scene. And when I went out with an officer and I worked with a woman, but her reactions were not what I expected. And I learned a lot through that experience in terms of how people are different and how people react. It was moments like that but there was also an opportunity where I learned that it's a privilege to sit with someone on one of the worst days of their lives. And it's also a privilege to carry their story. And I learned from then that is something I wanted to do, and I wanted to work with people who help people. It's not easy work, but when you see the benefits to the people you serve and the community and even to our team, it's worth it.
Well, the world is so much better that you have found your chosen path.
I'm a firm believer that
Yeah.
everyone has a role to play in
Yes.
this world,
Yeah.
and together we make it a better place.
Exactly.
No one has to be alone.
So today's discussion reminds us how important it is that no one has to face hardship alone, like you just said. Victim services exist because communities care and because every person deserves dignity, support, and understanding when life takes a difficult turn. We're grateful to our guest, Eva. We're grateful to you for helping us better understand the incredible work being done behind the scenes that many people don't even know. And to anyone listening who may need help, reaching out is really a brave first step. So thank you very much.
You're most welcome.
To learn more about MVS, please visit muskokavs.ca or contact mvs@muskokavs.ca. And thank you for tuning in. As always, please connect with us at askmomstoday@gmail.com. You can find us on YouTube, but also on Hunters Bay Radio 88.7 on the dial or www.muskokaradio.com. And as always, we hope we've helped you feel empowered, heard, and supported. And please remember, moms, dads, kids, we know you do your best and you're not alone. So until next time, please take care of yourself and others when you can. You've got this.